Hello everybody, welcome to Resinet. Today we are going to be working on a couple of molds that I've been excited to try for quite some time. This is the Balloon Dog mold, and this was the larger one. And then we're going to be trying this one as well, which is the smaller one. And we're going to be using a couple of different things in each of these, okay? So this one here, the larger one, I noticed that this part is super flexible, really nice and shiny on the inside. But I'm a little bit worried as I look down inside of this part here, the part where the head and the nose and the ears are, got just this little spot here for me to try to get that out of. But I think that with a little alcohol, it should be just fine. So I've got 8 ounces of JDiction resin made up. And I'm going to be coloring this with some alcohol resin that Let's Resin scent. And I have chosen aquamarine. I want this to be a really pretty translucent color. And I'm excited to try their alcohol inks. I haven't tried them before. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this. I'm going to give it a good shake. And okay, it looks like I do need to cut the tip of this one. Let's see. For scissors. I know sometimes when you have to cut the tips, they will splatter a bit. I've got about this much room here before I get to the tip. So I'm going to cover it a bit so it doesn't splatter all over me. And I'm going to go just to the top of where I see the ink starting. And I'm going to cover it because I had problems with that before. As you can see, you see here how it has kind of gone all over. So it's always kind of a good idea. Find your mark where you want to cut and then put a paper towel or something over the tip. Okay? We'll get rid of that. So I want this to be a really pretty translucent, like a see-through balloon. And let's see, let's just start with maybe a couple of drops. Since I got 8 ounces in here, it might need a bit more than that. But yeah, I can tell already that this is not going to be dark enough with that much. I think my balloon dog needs to be just a little bit more color than that. So, maybe 2 more drops. My resin did not have a chance to warm up as much as I'd like. I'm doing 2 more drops. Now this gives us a total of 6 drops. Hey guys, sorry, but I'm going 2 more drops. Okay. That looks pretty good. I've seen a few bubbles in there, but I don't see any more streaks of color. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this off a bit. And I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes. Give those bubbles a chance to come back up. Put a little bit of alcohol in there, let that sit for a minute. What we're going to do with this one is I'm actually kind of excited about this one as well because JDiction had sent me some of their quick curing for a 4-hour quick cure resin. And so I was originally planning to use that on both of these molds, but since I haven't used it before, I wasn't sure if I could go this deep in a pour. I feel pretty comfortable doing this deep in their regular resin, okay? But since I haven't used the quick cure before, I decided to do a little bit of a smaller one. And we'll do this one in a different color. If you aren't that familiar with the resin you're using, I would be really careful pouring this all at once. You might want to do a couple of different layers. Make sure that you know your resin, read your directions, and see what you can do safely without it curing too quickly. You could get a flash cure, okay? So let's see, my resin, I still see I've got some bubbles in there. Now, the bubbles in this would change it. It would definitely look more like a water balloon dog instead of just like a clear, translucent balloon dog. So let me think how I want to do that. My resin's not warm yet. I think I'm going to let this sit, you guys, maybe about another, maybe 3 minutes or so, okay? And then I'll come back and then we'll pour it, all right? I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so now it's been sitting here about, I don't know, about 4 minutes or so. And I still have some little micro bubbles in there, but they have really, a lot of them have really come up and kind of dissipated on their own. I think I'm going to go ahead and pour this, even though I've got some micro bubbles, and it just means that next time, you know, it's winter and it's even cold here in Arizona lately. We've been getting down to below freezing, which is cold for us at night. And so I've been keeping my house cooler, you know, 65, 66. And then I think, oh, I'm going to go resin for a while. And then I turn on my heat, but I forget that my resin's been sitting in the cold room. So it takes a little longer. Even after placing it on the heat mat, it just takes a little longer. So remember that at your own, in your own resin area as well, that you got to allow time for your resin to warm up. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead. I sprayed a little bit of 91% isopropyl alcohol in here. I do have some little spots here, like that tip of that nose, and here the tip of the tail. So I really don't want bubbles in that part. And I'm going to have to just pour this kind of slowly and try to get down into those sections first, I think. I'm going to go ahead and pour some of this in and just kind of let it slide down in there. Now this 8 ounces may not be enough. I will probably have to go in and add some more. Make up some more. Probably should have used my mixer so that I could have made up more resin all at once. But I'm going to give the little tip of the nose down here a good couple of squeezes, so if there's any bubbles in there, they will come out. Kind of pouring this at an angle so you can see what I'm doing, and also to help avoid bubbles, so it just kind of is sliding down in there. No bubbles are coming up out of that. So here we got the tail on this side. I also don't see any bubbles or anything attached to that. Now, gosh, you guys, so we did all that. That only took 2 ounces of resin, okay? So I've got 6 ounces of this color made up, and now I'm feeling a bit more comfortable that this is going to be enough. Okay, wipe my cup off here. So I'm going to go ahead and pour kind of slowly. One thing I do want to do is maybe just add one more little spray of alcohol in here. So if I do have a little bit more bubbles coming up, that that alcohol will help them just kind of continue to pop on their own. So now one thing is I didn't really think about is this staying clamped together. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. I'm probably going to have to find, you know what? I'm going to have to go find a little clamp to hold this, just to be sure that I don't get a line through the middle, okay? I'll be right back, and I'm going to go find that real quick. So I found this little, clamp here, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it over this, just to kind of help it stay together. Okay, so let's give that a try. This is going to be really close, really close. If we don't go all the way to the top of the legs, I really don't think it's going to matter that much, but it's going to be super close, you guys. Okay, so this actually can be done with 8 ounces. Exactly 8 ounces. I really don't think I want to try to move it. At least move it. Oh, yeah, I guess I can at least move it back here a ways. Okay, so now we're going to do this one, and I'm going to guess that this one's going to take about half of that. So maybe right at about, oh gosh, probably only about 3 to 4 ounces, but I'm going to make up 4 ounces of my quick Cure resin. I'm going to get the green out of here, and we're just going to go ahead and reuse this cup. The quick Cure resin is also a 1-to-1 ratio. This is what we're going to be using. It says 4-hour demold on it. Okay, can you see that? Sorry, I'm having to watch out for that big dog there. I don't want to knock it over on accident. That would be a big mess. So this is 1-to-1. I'm going to go ahead and mix it up, and then I will be back. All right, I'll see you then. So I decided to make up 6 ounces of this fast cure. Okay, now I've got some bubbles in there. One thing I noticed about this resin is that it's really super thick. Okay, so I mixed it for a good 6 minutes, and got a lot of those bubbles in there. It's been sitting here, I would guess, only maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to be using, out of that same kit that lets resin scent, I want to be using red, because to me, a red see-through balloon dog is kind of a classic. I need to clip the end of my red, give it a shake real quick first, and my scissors, cut it about here, put my paper towel over, there we go. So let's go ahead and we'll start with some drops. Start with 2. Actually, let's start with 3 because I know that 2 is not going to be enough. It's going to stir just a bit differently too because it's so thick. So now I'm going to leave that rest for a moment. Let some of the bubbles continue to come up, especially after I just gave it a good stir like that. So I'm going to give it a quick spray. And I'm going to let it sit again for about 3 minutes. And I'm going to watch it since I haven't used this resin before. I haven't used this quick cure resin. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing well with time. Right now it's not hot. It doesn't feel it's just barely warm. Just kind of like, you can tell I've stirred it warm, and that's about it. So anyway, I'll be back in about 3 minutes. I let this set for a few minutes, and as you can see, I still have quite a few micro bubbles, but you know what? You know how I was telling you that my room was kind of chilly? Well, so I have my air purifier going, and when I mix my resin, I always open my window, and I've got my fans going and my air purifier going. Well, when I stepped out into the other room, I noticed how cold it actually was in here when I came back in, and even though I've got my heater on in here, I forgot to close my window. So this is my fault. The bubbles are my fault. But honestly, you know what it looks like? It looks like candy apple. Like if you ever made candy apples as a kid, it looks like the little air bubbles you get in that candy apple. So it's okay. I still, even though we've got the bubbles, which I really believe are my fault in this one, I'm still interested to see if it's going to set up and cure within the 4 hours. So let's go ahead and we'll put our little bit of our alcohol here in the smaller one. Get it down into these little areas down in here are going to be even smaller. Get it in there, get it down into the ears, to that little tiny nose, both sides. All right, let's just go for it and see what happens because, yeah, I'm getting excited to see. We're going to start with the head first. Go down inside that little spot. My resin's feeling like it's just getting a little bit warm. Not too bad. On this side. Okay. So now we've got it in the head. You can see here pretty well. Giving the nose a good squeeze. See any bubbles coming up from that. Same over here with the little tail. And then keep pouring. Towel here. But my mess. So. When you're working with these silicone mats, you know, some people like to wait till it all dries and then pick it off. I really like to clean it as it's wet because I'll tell you, it's actually a lot easier if you just keep it clean. As you make a spill, if you wipe it up, it's so much easier than trying to peel that off. So I don't see any bubbles anywhere, you guys. So let's go ahead and we'll keep pouring, and I'm going to get my clamp put on here. Actually, maybe we'll go ahead and do that now. At the center, I do see on this one over here that the center, we do have a little bit of resin come in through the center. So I will have a little bit of probably some cleanup work to do on that, as far as like, you know, little bits coming in over here on the ends. Oh, it kind of acted like a suction between those sides. So I'm going to see if I can pour it and not have to put a clip on there. I don't know, it's kind of brave, but we'll see. See what happens. Oh, it's kind of breaking apart. I see it coming apart right there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something else to keep it together, I think. This clip is a little bit too small for this. This one is wider. That one was narrow, so it was easy to clip it together. This one, on the other hand, is not quite that way. Could use a little bit of UV resin maybe and just close it that way temporarily. But I want this to be nice and even, so let's see. All right, well, let's try it like this and see if that's going to work. You know, sometimes you can use tape or different things to hold your molds together when they've got a split edge, but this one, since you can't like wrap it all the way around, you're kind of limited with what you can do. If any of you have an idea that would make this easier, I would love to hear it, as far as like the center part of the clip goes. All right, you know, I don't think I'm going to go too much higher than this. Just a little bit right there. Kind of top it off. And let's see, I started with 6 ounces. I have just about 3 ounces left, so that took right out about 3 ounces. Okay, so 8 ounces for this one, 3 ounces for this one. And I'm going to give it a bit of alcohol there. Give that one a little spray too. And I'm going to let this sit. It is 7:05, so I will be back at 11:05, and we'll demold this. Maybe both, but not quite sure that one's going to be completely ready, but we'll see. You never know. But we will definitely be back to unmold this in 4 hours. All right? Okay, everybody, we're back, and it has been exactly 4 hours. So we're going to see if this is completely cured. I'm excited to get it out of here. So I'm going to take the clip off and see what we got. It feels pretty nice and cured. So let's see. See how we did. Okay, I knew I was going to have a little bit of overage from just where that clip was. And I am going to have a little bit of cleanup to do in here. You see there? Got a little bit here. I'm going to have to take off of there. I have one of those tools. I'll have to figure out how that is to use. Now this mold I thought was going to be all the way shiny all the way through. But you know what? It is shiny, and this did come from Temu, so it may not be the absolute best quality. If you can see here, it's a little shiny, but it's not necessarily like super glossy like, to me, a shiny red balloon would be. But still excited to see it, so we'll get it out of here, see how it did. Now, here is going to be the tricky part of getting that head out of there. I'm going to go ahead and spray some alcohol in there. I'm going to get my paper towel. As you know, I've said this many times before, but if you do use alcohol to get your project out of the mold, have a paper towel or something handy to wipe that off right away. Because on newly cured resin, sometimes it will kind of eat away at your resin. Makes it sticky, okay? Anyway, so let's see. Hopefully we can get this out. Come on. I knew this would probably be a problem because that little spot down there is so tiny for this. Hopefully I can get it out without ruining my mold. I didn't think this through very well. Let's see. I need this to kind of break the seal. And it did on that side, but I feel like it's not quite broken on this side. Come on, get down in there. Can you see how the air's coming through here now? You see the air bubbles? That's how you can tell that you've broken the seal around it, okay? And then a lot of times it'll come out much easier once you've got that part done. So let's see. Oh yeah. This came out the tail without even really trying. Oh gosh. Not sure how this is supposed to come out of there. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, we got him out of there. Wipe this off really quick. I definitely do have some bubbles in here. I'm just taking a paper towel with a little bit of resin on it because it feels just a tiny bit sticky after having to really rub that alcohol around in there. And I don't want the little paper things from my paper towel to ruin this, so get this off real quick. So here it is. What do you think? It is super cute. So this was the 4-hour curing resin, and it did cure. It did cure. I kind of wish that for my first time trying it that I wouldn't have tried it in something that was so difficult to demold like I did in this mold, but that's okay. It definitely held up to the challenge. The mold itself isn't the best, but the little balloon dog is super cute, and it looks just like a little balloon dog. So it does have kind of the candy apple looking bubbles in it. It reminds me of the little acrylic or lucite toys that I used to have in the early 1970s that had those bubbles in it. This 4-hour quick cure resin from JDiction worked well with this Let's Resin alcohol ink, okay, and that was in the red. So I'm really happy with the color of this. It's really cute. Okay, so anyway, there's that one. I did kind of miss, the nose is a bit misshapen, so I'm going to see if I can come in here with a little bit of alcohol and try to get that back up. You can see it just kind of moving around here. The alcohol really helps. And then once I get it kind of where I want it, I can kind of mold it back, reshape it, and then I can go ahead and smooth it all out again using the alcohol. I kind of fixed his nose since we had it kind of all out of whack. And it's a little bit better. You can see the profile here. He's got more of a distinct nose. With this kind of a mold, even though this is a 4-hour demold resin, which the resin itself did great, but because this is such a tough mold to demold, I kind of wish I would have gone ahead and let it sit just another hour or two just to be safe. But in the end, we do know that this cures nice and hard for in the 4 hours. It was ready. So happy about that. I'll see you guys tomorrow when this is completely done. It's 11:30 at night now, so I'm going to call it a night. See you then. The little balloon dog is super cute, actually. Here's a little bit of a closer look. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and it is about 11 o'clock almost the next day. And so I'm just coming in to kind of get ready to unmold this and check on our little dog again. And then little nose is completely cured now. Now that it's completely hard cured, there's nothing I could do except for reheating that to come in and manipulate it into a different shape using just alcohol. Okay, so it's fine to do that when you can catch it before it's completely solid cured. But anyway, still think that's super cute. Let's see about getting this one out now. Yep, there's no movement in the head anymore, so this is completely cured. Get it out of here. Now this one, just like before, like we talked last night, this one's going to be a bit tough to demold, and you can see how the green really sticks to the mold here. So I really am going to have to get some spray down in there to this little spot. Oh, that in there on this side. Okay, it's kind of getting down in there. Might need a bit more. There we go. Loosen that all up. Get into the face. There we go. It's going to need a bit more alcohol, I think, to try it on. This bottle's got a little bit better of a spray, I think. Do the same thing. Get it all the way down in there. There we go. There we go. Now you can see all the white and how the seal's broken on this. It should come out fairly easy. Just got to get it out through this little tiny hole here. And try pulling it up away from the nose. One nice thing, even though this is small, the mold itself is pretty stretchy. There we go. Especially if you turn it just like that. Get the alcohol off of here. Really cute. Okay, so one thing I didn't get as much on this smaller one that I see is coming through on the larger one. Look at this here. I'm not sure what my angle's looking like here. Let me see. Take a look at my camera. Okay. You see this here? This is like the tip of the balloon. You can see here how it would have been tied in like that little spot that's all bunched up. So this is the tip of the end of the balloon. And then here's the rest of it. And again, we did get the micro bubbles that I was kind of afraid of that we'd get, but it's okay. For my first one, they're super cute. What do you guys think? I really love how these turned out. The JDiction 4-hour fast cure did fine. The Let's Resin alcohol inks are just beautiful colors. They're perfect for the dogs. This one really turned out kind of like a glass. I was trying to get just a little bit, maybe just a tad bit more color in this one. I think you could have a balloon this color, so kind of a light translucent green. But I think they're really sweet. Let me know what you guys think about these, and let me know if you're going to try them. I will post a link, the Temu link, in the comments, and if I can find them on Amazon, I will post that as well. But so far, I think the only ones I found on Amazon were just the really, like the little tiny ones. But they may have these now, so I'll take a look and see. And other than that, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. I just can't wait to try the next ones. So yeah. All right, y'all. Have a really great day. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.